Hello and welcome to the Pregame Network News Hole, a series where we recap a few things we heard throughout the week. Not necessarily everything and all the big news you'd expect, but a few things we heard and thought were interesting. This episode is for the week of July 24th, 2022. Let's get started. Earlier in the week, reports came out that Rockstar has been going through internal restructuring for a few years, as external pressure and internal activism fought against what was reported to be an all-boys club rife with bullying and crunch. This has slowly resulted in a kinder and more progressive culture that has led Rockstar to be, as one employee put it, more like a real company. The shakeup has allegedly already had effects on the development and writing of Grand Theft Auto 6, and if these early allegations turn out to be false, I'd wager it's happening anyway, as even without those changes, a large chunk of the legacy staff responsible for most of the games in their catalog was already gone after Grand Theft Auto 5. It's uncertain what the end result will be for Rockstar or its IPs, which are notorious for not pulling many punches, with on-the-nose jabs at culture, over-the-top stereotypes, and heavy-handed satire. And until we see some of the work in progress, we won't know how audiences will react, but I'd estimate when the dust settles, things won't be good. On Wednesday the 27th, an independent team working on an English translation of the PlayStation Portable version of Persona 2 Eternal Punishment canceled the project after a different iteration of an existing official translation dropped out of nowhere from a different independent source. Both the news and the new translation came out just hours after the head of the project confidently stated that they were not resting on their laurels, and after declining to offer any kind of release window, teaching us all that if you want to get work done, apparently inflating your workload while sitting around in your own unwarranted self-importance for nearly a decade doesn't actually help. The announcement was made in a bloated blog post where they bemoaned the fact that the Shin Megami Tensei fanbase has degraded, their words, not mine, into something that would hurl harassments, insults, and other hateful responses towards them. Whether they're referring to now after the announcement, or during the 9 years of work on the translation, is unclear. On Thursday the 28th, Steam updated its rules for graphical assets on the storefront and game library. The updated guidelines ban developers from adding advertisements, discounts, awards, and review scores from banner images and other visual-based game representation on the Steam store. Other new rules aim to enforce clarity, requiring that the game logo be clearly visible, legible, localized, and not covered by unrelated miscellaneous text, as well as adding restrictions on how and how often developers may use these spaces to advertise new updates and events, with temporary overrides instead of permanent replacements of art assets. These will be refreshing changes, which will hopefully curb intra-game advertising, unnecessary clutter, the slow visual destruction of my Steam library, and the new habit of developers tripping over old projects to sell new ones. These changes and further rules related to the issue will launch on September 1st. Violators of these rules risk limiting game visibility within the Steam store and eligibility in official Steam sales and events. And now some smaller stories from throughout the week. 4v1 PvP game Evolve surprised everyone when it returned from the dead with peer-to-peer servers being restored, the player count immediately jumping up to the hundreds when services went live again. Call of Duty Warzone and Vanguard kicked off Season 4 Reloaded, not to be confused with the last Season 4 Reloaded. This includes Terminator skins and zombie modes, truly another mold-breaking moment for a series that just dug itself out of a rut 2 years ago before throwing itself right back into it. For the final small story, we have Diablo Immortal reaching $100 million in profit, continuing to prove that people will eat up just about anything on the mobile and free-to-play front for the slightest bit of gratification in a dull, dull existence. Lastly, as we head into a new month, Microsoft and Sony's various services will receive new games. Xbox Live Gold will receive Calico, which looks absolutely charming, and has something to do with cats, and Saints Row 2. Both of which will be available on the 1st. While the 16th will add Scourgebringer, just in case you don't have enough fucking roguelites in your library, and Monaco, What's Yours Is Mine, a top-down stealth game, or something. So I guess if you haven't played Saints Row 2 in a while, now's the time to pick it back up again. For Xbox Game Pass, the service will add early access title Turbo Golf Racing on the 4th, Campus Building Simulator 2 Point Campus on the 9th, a day one launch, top-down beat-em-up Midnight Fight Express on the 23rd, another day one launch, and some kind of live-action game called Immortality on the 30th, yet another day one launch. Which is the only thing exciting about this one, as I'd never trust a game that won an award from a film festival in 2022. On the Sony side, you can pick up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and Little Nightmares. All 3 will be available on the PlayStation 4, while only the first 2 will be available on the PlayStation 5. These titles will be available on August 2nd with PlayStation Plus Essential. As for higher-end subscriptions, more Yakuza games are on the way. Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2, which will all be landing on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium libraries. As for the remaining Yakuza titles, they are scheduled to be available as well at some point later in the year. And that does it for this week of the Pregame Network News Hole. If you encounter anything you think we'd find interesting throughout the following weeks, send it our way. Thank you for listening, have a great week, we'll see you next time.